I've showed you before, I like to make things as easy as possible. So I cook up about 4 servings of steel cut oats ahead of time, and then I put them into this glass dish and I pop it in the fridge. So now that it's been in the fridge for a while, it's nice and firm. So I'm just gonna cut my 4 portions out. Had to redo that one. So you just cut them as evenly as you can. And then you've got 4 days worth of oatmeal already made, and then you don't have to deal with making it every morning. So then I just take out a serving and I mash it up and I add some water. And then I'll pop that in the microwave and then add my toppings. Okay, so now that my oatmeal is nice and hot, I'm gonna add my toppings. So I am going to make a smoky maple mustard dressing to put on my steamed Swiss chard this morning. So all I'm gonna do is take some Dijon mustard, and then I'm gonna add an equal amount of maple syrup. And then I'm just gonna add a pinch of smoked paprika. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiki. Today is another Meals for Maximum Weight Loss video. I'm going to show you guys a full day of eating, and this is how I was able to lose almost 70 pounds and keep it off. I'll be going over a couple of things that you can tweak and try to get those stubborn last 5 to 15 pounds off. Thank you, Nacho. You done? Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at PlentifulKiki. I do have a Facebook page as well, but I only post a fraction of what I post on Instagram there. Instagram is just a better platform for me. So if you want more lifestyle and food inspiration, make sure you check me out on Instagram. I'm constantly posting to my stories and showing you guys what my meals look like in a day. And I will be linking for you guys all the products that you ask me a lot about in the description box for you guys. I'll link the pots and pans I use, you know, my steaming basket, my wood bowls and plates. I will put all of that in the description box for you guys. Okay, breakfast. As you can see, there's my greens and my big bowl of oatmeal. Now, I know I always show you guys that I have oatmeal for breakfast. I choose oatmeal because it is the most filling thing for me to have first thing in the morning. When I eat potatoes just don't seem to have enough calories for me in the morning. I'm my most active the first half of the day, so I do eat oatmeal that is just a little more calorie dense and slower burning. It just keeps me full longer. But if you don't want to have oatmeal, you can certainly have potatoes, make them into hash browns, have sweet potato. There are many options for you guys. I'm really excited about these greens because they're out of the garden. All right, and as you guys saw, I do put flaxseed on my oatmeal. Now, I did not do this during maximum weight loss when I was trying to get off that last bit of weight. But I know a lot of you guys are concerned about cutting fats out completely. I know Dr. McDougall and Dr. Neil Barnard say it's not something to be overly concerned about because there is trace amounts of fat in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. However, I do personally feel more comfortable adding flaxseed to my oatmeal. I don't think that a teaspoon or 2 of flaxseed is going to slow down your weight loss because it's low in calories and low in fat. I wouldn't be, putting on a 1/4 cup of flax seeds because then you are, getting up there in calories and fat, but certainly you could add 1 to 2 teaspoons. I personally add a tablespoon to my oatmeal every day. But again, if you're more comfortable adding a little bit of flaxseed during maximum weight loss, I would go ahead and do that. I don't think that little bit of flaxseed is going to be what's stalling your weight loss. Things that stall weight loss have a lot more to do with overeating more calorie dense foods and snacking on higher calorie things. That's usually where the problem is, not in a little bit of avocado or a little bit of flaxseed. But again, when I did maximum weight loss, I did cut all those things out. I don't recommend having nut butter at all if you're trying to get the last bit of weight off, just because that is extremely calorie dense. But if you want to have, 3-4 nuts and crush them up and sprinkle them on your salad or your oatmeal, I think that that's perfectly fine. I know that Dr. McDougall in the Starch solution recommends keeping those things in your diet at a moderate level, and maximum weight loss is to help you get that last bit off that stubborn, and a lot of times people do tend to overeat on those things, so that's why he recommends taking them out for that time period. But then when you come back to wanting to maintain your weight, you can start adding those things in and seeing what your body's tolerance is before you start gaining weight back. All right, I'm gonna eat my breakfast and then I'll answer some questions for you guys. All right, so just as a reminder, I follow the work of Dr. John McDougall. I read his book, The Starch Solution, where he presents a ton of science explaining why a plant-based diet is the way to achieve maximum health. This is a really great book if you're just starting a plant-based diet and you don't know a whole lot of the science and research behind it. I really recommend starting with this book. I will link it for you guys in the description box. I was able to lose a good portion of my weight just following this. The other book I really recommend is the McDougall Program for Maximum Weight Loss. I will link this one as well for you guys. This is where he explains the things you can do and change up to help you get your body losing weight again if you've reached a plateau and you still have weight to lose. I did the 50-50 plate to lose all of the weight that I needed to lose. Everybody's body is different. You may have to play around with it. If you're older, you don't need as many calories. So if you're trying to eat as much as I'm eating, you know, it may not work for you, or it may. Everybody's body is very individual. So again, all I did was basically fill half my plate with non-starchy vegetables and the other half with starchy vegetables. If I want to have fruit with my meal, then I put them on the non-starchy vegetable side. I also enjoy fruit for snack and dessert. I'll also snack on veggies and some oil-free hummus. But you guys see that I eat a ton, so that means I don't usually snack because I'm not hungry until my next meal. I don't enjoy like having to stop to find a snack. I am a busy person. I'm always out and about doing work on the property or hiking or biking, so I don't like to stop to snack. But there's nothing wrong with snacking. But if you're trying to lose that last little bit of weight, you do want to focus on snacking on things like vegetables, not crackers or chips or bread, things like that. Okay, so now if you're trying to lose this last 5 to 15 pounds, I will say it over and over again, those can be the hardest pounds to lose, and they can take the longest because you're already at a lower, healthier weight. It just takes time. And if you are a female, it takes even longer. Dr. McDougall has an entire section dedicated to women and why we are slow weight losers. And it all has to do with child rearing and how our bodies are made to hold on to fat so that we can reproduce. However, there are a couple things that you guys can do. One of them being to focus your meals around potatoes. So potatoes are the most satiating food for the least amount of calories, which is why I don't eat them at breakfast, because they are not enough calories. I get full, but I didn't consume enough calories, and then I'm hungry again like an hour later and I'm looking for snacks. So that's why I eat a higher calorie breakfast made up of oatmeal. But if you are trying to get those last, again, 5 to 15 pounds off and they just won't move, then start focusing your meals around potatoes. You can have potatoes at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure you're doing at least the 50-50 plate, where half your plate is full of non-starchy vegetables and then the other half is full of your starchy vegetables like potatoes, rice, corn, beans, things like that. And then if you're hungry, go back for seconds and serve yourself the same way, and always start with your veggies. You can of course mix your veggies in. They don't have to be on the side, but I personally just like to eat my non-starchy vegetables not mixed in all the time. I don't know, I'm kind of weird like that, but you can certainly mix them into your meal. But I always do recommend, if you're gonna separate them, to eat your veggies first, because you want to fill up on the lowest calorie dense foods first. The other thing you can do is to really keep an eye on your snacking. A lot of times we are snacking more than we think we are, and we're snacking on higher calorie foods. So if you're getting hungry and you're snacking in between meals, that's totally fine, but make sure you're snacking on some fruit and some veggies like cucumbers, celery, bell pepper, carrots, and a little bit of oil-free hummus, things like that that aren't gonna be higher in calories and low in fiber, like crackers and breads and things like that. If you want to snack on fruit but are afraid of consuming too much, then I recommend eating melons, like watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, those sorts of things. They're very, very filling, full of fiber and nutrients that your body needs. needs, and they fill you up for so little calories. But you guys know me, I'm always gonna encourage you to make this journey about health and not just about the skinny. You know, if you trying to lose those last 5 pounds is just driving you insane and stealing your joy, then I would just make my peace with it. Seriously guys, sometimes being just a little bit leaner is not worth the emotional upset or the stress that it can cause. I want you guys to enjoy this journey, enjoy nourishing your bodies, enjoy the fact that our bodies are strong and made to heal when we give them whole, nutritious food. Okay guys, so here is my insanely huge bowl of food. But just remember, like, this half of the bowl is just lettuce. So it looks like it's a lot more food than it is, but I know, like, I eat a lot. I can put a lot in my stomach. You don't have to eat as much as I eat. I'm extremely active these days, and I've always been somebody that just needs more volume of food in my stomach. So I love enchilada bowls because they're so easy to pull together. I always have baked potatoes or steamed potatoes ready for the week so that I can just pull them out and use them quickly in a meal like you guys saw. I use canned beans and canned corn. And this is the enchilada sauce that I use, and it's oil-free. And I just find in my regular grocery store, you can also find it in the health food stores, but it's like $2 more a can. So, you know, look at your regular grocery store first. And I will link the video for my cheese sauce recipe in the description box. There's a fat-free version, and then there's a version that has a very small amount of cashews in it. I personally love using the one with the cashews because that little bit of cashews makes a really big difference. But there are 2 options for you guys to choose from. All right, time to put this down. All right, so I did want to go over a few things with you guys. So Dr. McDougall on his website has a great chart that is done by Jeff Novick. And here it outlines that you could start your meal with a soup or salad or fruit and then move to your 50-50 weight. And that's a great way to get that last bit of weight off. I personally didn't do that because I wasn't in a place where I liked eating salad. And if I had soup, I would eat soup, I guess a little bit, but I really didn't follow that as a rule. But I did do the 50-50 plate as a rule for myself, and that is what helped me get all of the weight off personally for myself. But I know that there's a lot of people that struggle to get that last bit of weight off. So really, you can use this chart as a tool to remind you of like how to build your meals. Now, again, you do want to stay away from refined oils because they are so calorie dense and so low in actual nutrition that it's a really good idea to eliminate those completely. You do want to also really watch the nut butters if you're still wanting to keep those in. Now, if you're like, you know, 50-60 pounds overweight, having a little nut butter I don't think is going to stall your weight loss, but when you're down to the last little bit of weight, then nut butters add up very quickly. So instead I would, you know, have a couple nuts crushed up on your salad or your oatmeal instead of a bunch of like peanut butter smeared on a piece of bread, which I know we all love. And remember, you do want to just keep an eye on how much avocado you use. I did not have avocado or nuts and seeds during my weight loss, but now on the other side of weight loss and having been able to maintain my weight, I have re-added in some ground flaxseed, and I eat like a quarter to a half an avocado every day, and I haven't gained any weight. Now, if I wanted to thin out more from where I am now, which I have no interest in doing, then I would think that it would be difficult and I would need to watch how much fat I'm taking in, but I don't want to cut that out of my diet. I think it's healthy to have it in there, you know, so then that would mean that I'd have to cut down on the amount of starch that I eat, and I don't want to do that either. So like I said, you find your happy place for you. I'm not willing to restrict anything to be a little leaner. So that's something that you have to figure out for yourself. If it's stealing your joy, again, really reevaluate whether or not these last 5-10 pounds are worth it. I will link Dr. McDougall's website in the description box. It's a great resource. All of his information is free. He's got tons of recipes, tons of articles on different health issues. I get a lot of questions about, you know, is it okay to eat like this because I have diabetes or I have this condition or that condition? And I am not a doctor. I cannot give you medical advice, but you can look up all of those conditions on Dr. McDougall's website. And there's like articles and research about everything on there. So make sure you guys check that out. So for dinner, I always like to keep things really simple. So tonight I'm gonna just do like a rice and broccoli cheese casserole. So I'm gonna take some brown rice and fill half my bowl with brown rice, and then I'll put broccoli in the other half, just like that. And then I'm gonna take the cheese sauce and add that and just mix that up. And then to that, I found this bacon seasoning that's vegan, and I found it at Whole Foods, and it's so good. So I put this on top of it, and it just like takes it up a notch. All right, guys, so this is really, really filling. I will probably have a little bit of a second helping, but then I always like to have like a bowl of fruit before I go to bed. And again, I will put this bacon seasoning on it. It is so good. I will link it for you guys in the description box, because everybody has their own varying levels of what they find acceptable in the ingredients. So I will put this up so you guys can look up the ingredients and see if it's something you want to try. But again, I just found it at Whole Foods. If I can find it on Amazon, I'll link it for you guys, because I know you like that as well. But this is a great way to hide brown rice for yourself and your family. We are less than enthusiastic about brown rice in our household. Anytime I like put brown rice in front of my family, they're like, what happened? Are we out of white rice? So this is great. And by the way, guys, I don't make separate meals. Like, I make one thing and everybody eats it in my house. Mama Bear is not gonna be making 2 separate meals or 3 separate meals. This is what I make. My kids and husband obviously won't eat as much vegetables in it because they don't need to dilute their calories to maintain their weight the way I am. But yeah, my family eats the same way. My kids do eat more nuts and seeds and avocados because they definitely need more calories. They're running around playing all day and they're growing. So, and if anybody complains, well, they can go hungry or make their own food, right? Okay, so every night I really enjoy having a cup of frozen cherries, and then I like to put some sprinkles on it. It just makes them crunchy and adds more interest. Or I like to add some of these cacao nibs. They have no sugar added, but that way you get like a little bite of chocolate and some crunch. All right, guys, so that's it for me today. Remember to approach this journey from a place of self-love and acceptance. No amount of self-hate will ever get you as far as self-acceptance will. Remember, you're as beautiful and sexy as you are willing to believe that you are. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.